What's up, party people? How you guys doing out there in YouTube's land? Welcome to Sunday's Domesticated Caveman or Caveman's Weekly Report. I'm the Domesticated Caveman, or Gannon, as some people call me. Glad to be here. Glad to see y'all out there. Okay, I got a special guest here with me. Okay, this guy will probably be around a little bit on this show. Good thing.
Yes, sir. What's up, Gannon? What's up, everybody? Hello, YouTube world. I hope everybody is enjoying their Sunday afternoon. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and join us in the chat and have some fun. We're gonna have some awesome discussions to go over today. Gannon will go over all that with you guys, but I'm happy to be here. And Gannon, thanks for inviting me for this beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Couldn't be more pleased, man. Glad you're here, brother. Yeah, man. So the title of the slide is, title of the show was 5 mistakes that new toy photographers make. And I'm going to try and dive into a topic like this. We're going to keep these shows are going to be quick, to the point. We're not going to ramble on a lot. Well, we might ramble on a lot.
Maybe if we have something interesting enough to talk about, or there's a dialogue that needs to be had, we'll definitely discuss it.
Absolutely. I saw Craig out there. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, brother. 60 Pick 77. Good afternoon. Hello. What is up, Stevie? I see you, man.
Stevie, man.
How goes it, brother?
Nice to see him. Krieg, ramble on. Yes, sir.
Ramble
if it's
on.
worth it.
Oh, man. How was your week this week, Kay? Did you do anything special or exciting?
Yeah, I have been elbows deep into photography and just really enjoying just getting back into the thing and just finding some really cool things to do. And I've been really just focusing on my lighting, and that's something we're going to talk about today is lighting, which would be really good. Work is fine, but yeah, things are good, man. I'm in a really good mental space and I'm really excited to be here. So yeah, what about you? What do you got going on?
Man, I got this, dude. I've been working on this for a couple of days. I'm flying solo here without Nico. So, this is my very first live stream without Nico running the background. So, running things in the background. So,
I'm sure just fine.
Yeah. But to everybody else,
you're glad to see us.
You know what I mean? So, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's dive into our subject, man. I'm going to put it right up here on the screen. Biggie bam. Let's talk about 5 mistakes that new photographers in the toy world make. I mean, I think new photographers pretty much in general make these mistakes. I don't want to pigeonhole it just to toy photographers, but we talk about toy photography here a lot. So, the most obvious mistake, I think, is bad lighting. And, you don't have to have a bunch of equipment to fix lighting. Common mistakes. Let's talk about these. Too dark or too blown out. Don't you see a lot of that, okay, like when you're looking at new photography?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue, speaking on like too dark or blown out, is what's happening is if you have a dark figure with a dark background, that figure is disappearing into the background. You can't really separate the two. So as you mentioned, lighting is going to affect that heavily. And then if it's blown out, you look at it and then what they call hot, something is too hot.
Yeah.
That definitely affects it. Some people, maybe that's your style, or you're using that as a specific effect. Maybe you got the sun is close to a figure or whatever. But yes, those are very common issues that I see happening.
Yeah.
Not just in new photography either. Like this can happen, people that have been doing it for a while. But yes, as far as common, these are like one of those things. I wish somebody told me this early on.
Yeah. Well, you could get you get your figure to where you think it's lit pretty well, but then like everything else is blown out around it. The other thing too that I see is a lot of like really, really cool, moody, dark attempts. Like we're trying to be moody and dark here, but it just like you lose everything, gets clipped. Your blacks clip out, and you can't you can't make out any details in the figure. It's almost like a silhouette sometimes, like a badly done silhouette, and so it makes, if your lighting's wrong, like we can use, you don't have to have 10 lights to make you can use one light if you do it right. I was using
Can you really?
Yeah. Well, so okay, so let's pretend that this is my key light over here, and you can see like my face is darker on this side. Now I'm doing this for mood in a video and this, that, and the other, and some people like that, some people don't. But all I have here is a piece of paper with some instructions on something that I've been building, right? It's a white piece of paper on the back. Watch what it does to my face.
Bouncing your light, guys, is so important. So if you have a lack of lighting, if you have one light or whatever, if you bounce it like Gannon's doing, you take basically a white piece of paper or a white piece of cardboard or something that is white or reflective, your light will bounce off that back onto your figure, and actually it will help a lot with those darker spots on your figure. So if you have a light that's primarily on the right side of them, and maybe their torso is dark like Batman, and you want to be able to see their legs in front of the cape or whatever, their torso midsection, bouncing your light, also it's so soft on the figure too. You don't need the second light. It acts like a second light, and you can literally take a piece of paper like Gannon just did, and it will highlight your photo. So it's really easy to figure out. So
subtlety.
Subtle.
Yep, it's very subtle, but I mean, it absolutely 100% works. And so, if you've got one light, I would highly suggest that you don't put that directly in front of your figure and light the figure directly from the front. Instead, move that thing off to a 45-degree angle someplace and use a reflector, and you're going to get a much more balanced, realistic looking light on things. So you've got to have contrast in your photos, and that's a good way to do that is not using just a big bright flat white flat light pointing at your object. Get the angles in there right and use a reflector, which can be something we're only taking pictures of 6-inch figures, maybe sometimes 12-inch, maybe sometimes 3 1/4 inch, but it works in real world too. They make great big huge reflectors that people use for portrait photography outdoors all the time, or indoors or whatever. So bad lighting. Don't make the mistake of going out and purchasing 900 lights because you think there's lighting is, in my opinion, the most important part of photography. So if you're going to spend money, there's two things to spend money on, in my opinion, lighting being one of the most important. The other one would be glass for your camera, but I digress. Once you have those things down and you start to figure out, then you can start playing with rim lighting, a second light coming in from behind, different colors of light, warm versus cool tones, like I'm doing in here, warmer tones, cool tones, stuff behind me separating. That all is part of the lighting. It really does make a huge difference. So if I turned everything else off in here and just had that one light, it'd look pretty bad. So
you'd be a floating face.
That floating face. That is exactly right. And I'm pasty Irish anyway, so. Right. All right, let's get on to the next thing that new photographers mess up. Let's talk about busy backgrounds. They put too much clutter, distracting elements, and there's no separation between their subject and what's in the background. So you get to this point where, and I see guys make this mistake with diorama work also, where they lose focus on the figure itself because there's so much crap going on around the figure, and they want to make sure to get all of that stuff in because they've taken the time to set it all up. You know what I'm saying? And it gets so busy that you miss out on the fact that, hey, this is the figure is what we're supposed to be looking at here. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, people want to show off all the effort they put into their diorama or whatever it is, their shot that they set up. But it could be at a detriment of your shot. It could actually hurt it. If the focus, say you got Punisher in a warehouse and he's starting to light it up, right? He's shooting off everywhere, but you want to take a picture of the whole warehouse and Punisher is in the back of it. And you want to make sure you get everything in there. where's Punisher at? So to the point you have here, it's too much clutter. What is important to the shot? It would be Punisher in the entrance of the warehouse shooting off his gun, maybe having a person that's shooting back or whatever, or however you want to set up your shot, but not everything needs to be in it. And that was a struggle I had, because when I was setting up my dioramas, I did get proud of them. Oh my God, I did all this work and I really wanted to show it all off, but it hurts the shot. It really does.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And the same thing goes for, like, if you're in your backyard and you're got your figure set up in the grass, you know, those elements can become distracting because think scale. You know, there's a fence in the background that you can see. There's a parked car, you know, you're trying to make a Godzilla shot or a Jurassic Park shot or any of these things, or these things are supposed to be huge, and your background's just filled with things that are, you know, completely not in scale with anything. So while that's fine because you're taking a picture of a toy and that's the point of it, at the same time it loses, you start to pay attention to other things that are going on. It's the old classic pull out of the top of the head. You know, you're standing taking a photo of somebody outside and you don't look behind them to see what's going on, and there's a telephone pole coming right out of the top of their head, you know, or something like that, and it completely blows. It looks so good on that little screen or on your phone or whatever you're taking, and then you get it out and you pull it up and you're like, oh man, there's a pole coming out of the top of their head. So yeah,
it looks terrible. And unfortunate too, because like you spend all that time, lots of times too, and this kind of goes with the dioramas. Like when you take your shot of your diorama, if you're happy with that shot, do not tear down your diorama, because
right.
if you get to your camera and you look at the photo and you're like, oh, I was really happy with this, and then you see that light post coming out of their head, oh crap, well, I just tore down my diorama, I don't want to rebuild it, and now you wasted all that time and effort. So that's another, like, that's an added little mistake that people make, common mistake. Just if you're building a diorama, do not tear it down until you're done with the photo 100%.
Yeah, that is great advice right there. That's great advice. But yeah, man, so watch what's going on in your backgrounds. Noobs. Yes. It's okay, just keep an eye out for that stuff. So let's talk about the next thing. Stiff poses. I see this a lot with people that are new at doing these things. You know, they here's the figure, it's great, I'm gonna plop it down, posed exactly like this picture, and then you add in those other elements of things that we're talking about with a busy background or bad lighting, and it just looks like a flat figure, you know, and it's like it says in the thing here: straight limbs, no weight or balance, no sense of motion, you know, straight arms. It just looks like a statue, and it is an action figure. So let's put a little action in these. If it looks like a toy, it feels like a toy. So if you're going for realism, then, you know, you want to put a little action on it. What's your experience with this, Kay?
If there is a time, like there is a time and a place where maybe having a figure stand straight up like this is applicable. I know a lot, speaking for me with portraits, I will often have my figure standing straight up. Sometimes I like to move them around. Sometimes making a carousel where you have one standing straight up, and then, you know, you have more dynamic poses as you go through the carousel is fine. The one suggestion I would make is just shift the figure. Have them stand a little bit sideways. Have their head tilted towards the camera, where now you have a more dynamic pose where their chest is shifted off of the camera, the center line, and then their head is still focused. And then all you really need to do, depending on the figure, you could just have, you know, the straight arms, just have one up with their fist like this, like they're about to flex or hit you. Yes. And then now you just change your figure from a statue, give it a little bit more life and dynamic, and then you're avoiding the whole looks like a statue thing, because there is a little bit more movement involved. There is something that is a little bit more dynamic, even just by shifting the figure like 45 degrees. It's going to make a world of difference in your shot. Yeah,
100%. Well, what he's talking about is I'm straight onto the camera here. So if I tilt my shoulders like this a little bit, and then I look at the thing, there's just, it puts a line, you know, it differentiates that from just a block looking.
Right.
You can now do things and fold the arms maybe, or put a fist up like he was saying. You know, I mean, there's just easy ways to automatically, if you're not comfortable with posing yet, those simple little things. Another thing is like simple walking poses and things like that. Like take a walk across your room and watch what your arms do. You know, your left arm goes forward, your right leg moves back. When your right leg goes forward, your left arm moves back. You know, there's a little twist in your torso when you're doing it. Look at those things. Think about things. There's posing books. I think I showed it off during our 24-hour show that I have a couple of old posing books that I used that were for human beings, but they apply obviously to action figures. So
if you don't have access to those, you can always use the internet. I often like to look at source material. So if I have a Batman figure or a Punisher or Daredevil, especially from like something as specific as like, say it's Daredevil from Born Again, I would look up screenshots or other people's work to get inspiration for posing ideas. It's very easy to do, like Gannon said, walking poses, or even just shifting the torso in the head. Like 60 Pick says posing is key. Absolutely. Lighting is the priority. It's the number one thing that should be your focus. And then posing is like second or third. It really sells or ruins a photo. So yes. Take your time and study the scene. Absolutely.
So Craig just nailed a point I was going to add into this, kind of a bonus point. So a lot of people get in a hurry because you're excited. You got your figure, you got things set up, you got your camera phone down, you get down, you start blasting out photos on your camera and doing things. What if you really enjoy it? What Kay was just talking about right there is like, look at some source material. Like, okay, here is my Spider-Man, and go out and sit in front of a screen on your computer or whatever, and take that Spider-Man figure and work that pose and see if you can get that pose looking exactly like what you're saying, and really take some time doing that, and then set that shot up. And when you set that shot up, take your time with it, get the right angle on it, do those things, and it becomes very rewarding, and it will up the value. You could post 10 mediocre flat photos on Instagram a day, or you could post one good one, and I can tell you what's going to do better for your Instagram. I think everybody knows that. So anyway, yes, that is exactly right. 60 I agree. So that is a key. All right, no stiff poses. We're not going to do those. Let's go to our next slide. Storytelling. I think that becomes a very important part of toy photography as you progress. You know, it starts off with, I'm going to take some photos of my figures. They look good. You get the lighting right. You get the balance right. But now you've got to figure out, you know, what's the context? There needs to be, like we said, action and movement, and not just a figure standing there, unless you're doing a portrait. And then even with a portrait, you could tell a story. Talk to me, okay?
Yeah, so no story doesn't mean you need to have a background or a diorama. What we're talking about when it comes to no story is basically what's happening with the figure. Is the figure standing? Are they in a fight pose? What are they doing? Yeah. Recently, quite a bit actually, I've been focusing my photography on my lighting and my portraits. And portraits are I love them because they're so intimate with the figure. And what I do with my figures, especially recently, I've been doing a lot with the Jada Toy Street Fighter, is I've been exploring how you can pose them. And they are so dynamic where you can get them on one leg and throwing a kick up. But in my carousel, or how I'm doing my shot, I want to make sure that the attitude of the figure is on point with how that figure actually is in the world of Street Fighter. So I have a character like Ryu throwing a kick because he's a karate guy. You got, Balrog, who is coming out from Jada Toys. I'm not going to have him throwing a kick because he's a boxer. So make sure that the figure is doing what you would see them do in the real world, even if the background is black or you're in just a plain room. It's okay that it's an empty space or it's a flat background. Just have that figure doing something that is believable to the character, and it'll sell your story. You won't need the diorama to sell it. If I see Batman in a hunched position looking like he's about to jump off a building, okay, that makes sense. I understand that Batman's going to do that. I can build the world out in my head. And that's really easy to do if you just make the pose and the lighting believable to what the character, how they would actually react or act in their world. So that's how I try to translate my photography, is I just make them do something believable for the character. And I think it works, for me at least.
Yes, I agree 100%. That is sage-like wisdom being told right there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could be wrong. 100% I could be wrong. But that, from my experience, that's how I do it when I do my portraits. It's just doing a believable pose. This is my conclusion, yeah.
Yes. All right. Great. Let's look at the last mistake that there's far from the last mistake that we make as photographers, but it's a big one. Doing too much in your photo. Over editing these things, way too many effects, too much going on. Just dial it back. I did a video a couple weeks ago. It was like the first kind of rendition of this show. It was pre-recorded. I did a live premiere on it where it went through my photography process, and I went through the shoot, how I set the lights up, how I edited in Lightroom, in Photoshop, used little Boris effects in there. And one of the things that I kept trying to tell people over and over again was subtlety. You know, it's these tiny little changes that make all the difference in the world. And if you've got fireworks going off and smoke, and you've added lightning in with some application, I noticed the folks that, and I'm not getting on anybody, but guys with phones, man, that take a lot of shots with the phones, amazing work that they're doing with the phones. But when a lot of guys first start with their phone, everything's over processed. There's way too many of these PNG effects thrown on top and behind, and textures are brought up and clarity's brought up too high, and it kind of looks like an old school HDR photo by the time they're done with it. So what are your thoughts on this, Kay?
Yeah, being a primary phone user, when it comes to editing and stuff on your phone, you want to make sure, and he just mentioned it with the filters, also make sure you're shooting in RAW. RAW is very important. Like, you go into your settings on your phone, most phones nowadays have that. You go into your picture settings, you can change your format from whatever it is to RAW, and what it'll do is it gives you more opportunity to adjust and make changes to your photo if you want to use Lightroom. So it makes it really easy and better for you to edit and change your photo. Now, with the filters, make it simple. It says right here on the screen, over editing, too many effects, and too much going on, dial it back. Keep it simple and clean. And what we mean by that is, if you took an excellent photo, you had your lighting great, you got your scene set up or your portrait set up, and you got your pose right, what you want to do is you don't want to hide that behind a bunch of filters and try to add stuff to it that isn't necessary. If you just you can make a couple corrections, you can do some color changes, you can up your clarity as long as it's not too much. You can have a filter, but when you're slamming multiple filters over it, now you're ruining your photo. You're losing the integrity of the photo. You're not really highlighting the figure anymore. It's like, oh, look at all these filters and my photo looks cool. And then you post it and you realize, maybe I should have dialed it back a little bit. And it's the same way in a lot of other like worlds. Like, imagine if you go to a restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and you order this beautiful steak, and then you have a potato, and then you have corn, and then they buried it under gravy, and then they put onions on top of that, and then mushrooms, and now you have the slop on your plate. That's exactly what's going to happen with your photography.
Waffle House.
Yes, all of a sudden, you look and it's just a pile of gravy over your
smothered, covered and chunked, baby.
Yes, yeah, and yes, it's delicious, but you lost all of the work you put in to get there. So just imagine that. Like, hey, I got this beautiful item of food. Let's not put everything over it to hide it, and exactly, that's a mentality that I have when I do my photography.
Does your steak really need a sauce? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit of butter.
You don't need any sauce.
Yes, exactly. Just a little bit of butter, and that's okay.
Yeah, I like it, man. So what? An honorable mention. let's talk a little bit about like an honorable mention on here. We were talking about this earlier. What do you think, man? What's another honorable mention or a dishonorable mention? Maybe I don't know. If you're doing something wrong, maybe it's not honorable. But
easy mistakes. Like I said, the shooting in raw is a big one. The other one is, I would say like having too many figures. We talk about like too many effects, but make sure that the figure you have, like say again, I mentioned Punisher earlier. You don't need to have so many freaking characters in the scene. One or two extra is fine. And I would just say not being afraid to ask for opinions or advice or getting some inspiration from people. I do it every single time I take a shot. I look for bad framing. Yeah, that's huge. Cropping, I would say cropping incorrectly. That's another really easy one people mess up.
Yep.
I kind of rambled a little bit there.
No, that's good. That's perfect.
That's what popped in my head.
Yeah, I agree with you on the too many figures in a shot. That takes real skill. When you have 5 or 6 figures that you're trying to fit into a shot, I mean, that takes some. That you definitely have to apply all of the things that we've talked about in this to add a bunch of figures. Otherwise, it just looks like your shelf.
It can be done, and it can be done tastefully, and it can be done at the highest level. But every time you add a figure, you're adding another ripple of difficulty. Where now that figure doesn't need to get lit correctly. How are you going to light that character? How is that character making sense in the shot that you're taking? So every time you add a new figure or a new item, you are now adding the level of difficulty. Keep it simple. Start with something easy like portraits or one figure doing a pose, and then build from there. And I promise you, if you gradually get into the diorama stuff, if you want dioramas, or as you learn more and get familiar with your camera or your phone and lighting and posing, you'll then be able to apply that to the higher difficulty areas. For me, like I said, I keep it simple. Portraits and lighting. That is my favorite thing to do, and I'm killing it. So
I love it, dude. You're knocking it out of the park. Back to the raw thing, and I'll probably end up getting into more of this in later episodes with you, but shooting in raw, like 99% of phones now, you can go into even on your phone and find the raw setting to shoot, and you'll find that editing your photo, it opens up the world when it comes to editing your photo. When you try and edit a JPEG, it's lossy compression. So a lossy compression means that like when you try and change your brights or your darkness or any of those things, it does damage to the actual pixels as you're editing. RAW doesn't do that. RAW actually uses the data sent from the EXIF file, and when you're tweaking your brights and your highlights and things like that, it keeps the originals always there. So one bit of advice that I will also give that goes back to lighting is I would rather see you underexposed than overexposed, because coming back from an overexposed highlight is more difficult than it is an underexposed highlight. Your camera picks a little bit more up than you think in the dark, but if you blow something out, those pixels are just lost. So 90% of the time. I mean, you can get it back sometimes, but that is what it is. So anyway, there are 5 mistakes that new toy photographers make, just new photographers in general, to be honest with you. But hope that helps out. If you guys have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. We'll get with you about it for sure. Let's move on to the next part of the show. Boom. I love this part of the show. Heavy hitters, man. Yeah, these are dudes that I think take amazing shots in the toy photo community. We are talking about some serious players here, guys that have honed their craft. All of the things that we have been talking about are actually a lot of them put in display in this very first photo by Mr. Lee. If you're not following that guy, I don't know how you're not, because I think everybody is. 246,000 followers.
Yeah.
But here's a perfect example of not difficult posing, just done the right way. What do you think, Kay?
Mr. Lee is one of my absolute favorite pages on Instagram. I draw so much inspiration from this page. And if you look at how this photo is, it's exactly what we were talking about. Keeping it simple, clean. The background is a gray background. It's a gray floor. What do we have with these two figures? Excellent lighting and technique is done. And these figures are not in super dynamic poses. They're literally standing off the center line, looking at each other. They're not looking directly at the camera, and they look immaculate. And you know what's going to happen. You can tell that just from this alone, you're building a story in your head. These guys are about to go at it. It's going to get intense. You don't know who's going to win. You know that these guys are ripped and they're ready to go. So this is the prime example of what you could do as two action figures or even one on your desk, your table, as I do as mine. You don't need to go outside. If you want to stay inside, you can. This is the prime example. And his whole page, Mr. Lee's whole page, is just like this. Dynamic posing, or sometimes not dynamic posing, but the lighting is immaculate. And this is where I draw my inspiration from. So I'm glad we highlighted him, because
Absolutely.
this is where I get my ideas from. And
I knew you were a portrait guy, so I wanted to show
Yes.
some like static figures that are still telling a story. What I always look at the technical stuff in the photos. I mean, so look at the offset lighting on the left side. He's got a cooler tone. You've got the rim light going up the leg and the figure on the left, and then on the right here we've got a warmer tone coming in off to the side, where you're getting that rim lighting up the right figure's legs and shoulders and so on. So fantastic work, great job with the key light on this, and still managed to pull those off that gray background, which is really cool, by the way. And he uses in a lot of his photos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
there's no fluff, man. It's figures.
Yes. Yep. And it's good focus. And again, you mentioned the lighting, and it's important to make your lighting deliberate. If you're going to use an orange color or a different color, depending on whatever it is you're doing, make sure that color makes sense to what you plan on doing. If you think about it, he's using a warmer tone. Why? It's going to look good, better on the white pants of the other character on the right. Also, it's in contrast, or it also goes with the hair of the character on the left. So now we have warm hair color, and you have a warmer color on the right. So it's balancing out the whole photo, and the white on the left is going with the white on the pants. Now, I don't know if that was intentional, but make your lighting intentional. That should be another thing you take away from this. Make your lighting intentional. If you're going to use blue, why is it blue? Why are you using blue? It doesn't need to make sense to the story per se, but it needs to make sense in the context of your photo. So again, I could go on this page all day long, because it's immaculate. This is the prime number one example of the best action figure portraits in the game, in my opinion. He's number one. So
that lighting juxtaposition, man, it does it. Let's see who we got next. Heavy hitter, Super Duper 666. Let's talk about some stuff here. Again, it's not a static pose. The angles are fantastic on this. If you'll look, we've got the knees pointing towards the corners here, right? And then we've got the arm and the shoulder pointing towards quarters here. Head centered nicely. You got I love what he did with the camera here. Flopping up. Dynamic posing. Great lighting. Thoughts on me, Kay?
Yeah, 60 pick said earlier, posing is key. And then somebody mentioned bad framing. 60 pick also mentioned framing. Yeah, this is eliminating both those things. The posing is incredible. And again, it's intentional. This is Spider-Man. He should be posing like this. And there's so much life. And you mentioned in earlier, the action, the camera's flying away. You know he's in movement. It's set. Everything about this, you have good focus, good lighting, and a trap that people fall into. It's look at Spider-Man's leg. It's blue, and the sky behind him is blue. But he found a way to keep it separate. You can see that the cloud behind it, so the blue isn't disappearing. The focus on that is really good. It's not blending into the background. It's a different shade, but it's executed so well. And Spider-Man looks so clean. And you can tell he's in a town somewhere, in a city, flying around. So this is immaculate. It's so good.
Yeah, great shot. Super Duper 666. You're not following that guy. Again, he's got 22K, but I'm sure he'd be happy to have 22K and one. So, let's get it. All right. Looky here. Speaking of heavy hitters, we've got none other than Jared himself, Sir Dork.
Yeah, this man needs no introduction. If you guys don't know who Sir Dork is, you're in the wrong hobby.
If there's 9 toy photographers in a room, 8 of them got started because they watched Jared's videos.
100%.
Yeah. This guy, stalwart in the community, great member of the community, friend of the channel. Wonderful work he does all the time. Always very sparing with his time, which is fantastic. So this shot he took of these new plunder frogs, I really dig it. He had a BTS on this. He only had one of the figures, so he did a nice cloning job here with a couple of different photos. The splash work, 99.9% of this is practical. I mean, well, the whole shot's practical. He did some work on it in Photoshop afterwards, and it's fantastic work as always. Rim lighting on the figures. He did a great job of picking where the sun was at in the sky when he took this photo. That's how you're getting that awesome bokeh on that water. Some of those water drops that are splashing up. Just the late afternoon light. Great work. Great figures. What do you think, Kay?
The focus on his shots is so good. Like his focal line, it's really thin and narrow. And what I mean by that is basically anything that's before the figures and after the figures is not in focus. So his line of focus is very thin. One thing I would say is pretty difficult to do that he executed here is that he's not using 2 different action figures and posting them together. So what he needs to do, he has to take the one pose, and I don't know if he started with the right or the left, but in order for that character on the bottom right to look up, he has to be able to, I imagine that and execute it. And it looks like it's 2 action figures. You're looking like the one on the bottom is looking up. So it's a lot of work here that he's putting into the shot. And this is we're talking about heavy hitters, the highest level that guys are getting to and executing. And this is, again, Jared's one of those guys. You have anything you need to learn. He has videos on his YouTube page. You can go look at his Instagram, look at the BTS. He has tutorials. Excellent work. And again, if you don't know who Jared is, I think you might be in the wrong hobby, because this is the guy. This is the guy that really got me into it. I know for you, got you into it. So, we could talk about Jared all day long. He's gracious and he's incredible, and very talented.
One of the heaviest hitters for sure.
Yes.
So. All right. Last but not least, I've got lights, camera, action figures. This is next level stuff. Also, the amount of work he puts in on his photos, the perspective on this is phenomenal. I mean, you could probably talk more about which Batman this is, and
that's
some
absolute
figures,
Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely awesome is what it is. Absolutely awesome Batman. But look at the colors, the blue, the red that he has in there. I have nothing but kudos for this shot. What do you think, Kay?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the action figure is itself. I'm not sure what that is as far as what company made it. But yeah, it's absolute Batman. He's freaking, that story is pretty sweet. Very dark. He gets in a huge fight with Bane, damn near dies. But in here, like you mentioned, the lighting, the blue and the red, and you got those nice contrast colors and pop. And he's in the thick of it right now. He's got the guy on the left. He's throwing that guy at us, and then you got the guy on his back. And we mentioned, when you add more figures like this into a shot, the lighting on each of them is equally as important as the main subject. And as you see, there's lighting on each one of these characters. You got softer lighting on the guy that's underneath them. You have that pretty big lighting on the guy that's on his back, and there's lighting on all these figures. You see kind of where he's at. Is he in a subway or an office, or what's happening here? But he's beating the crap out of these guys. It's awesome. I love this type of stuff. It's striking.
Right on.
So yeah, great work here.
No, that's and that's the 4 heavy hitters that I picked this week. Like I said, I'm going to do that every week, pick out some guys, because we could talk about what the new guys need to work on, but then we need to show what the payoff is when you master that craft and what it looks like at the end. And the heavy hitters to me have mastered those crafts. You know, they are true artists. So now I'm going to shift focus off of the heavy hitters a little bit, and we're going to do an artist to highlight. This is somebody that I pick out from the community every single week for their photography skills, for the efforts that they put in, for just being a part of the toy photography community. So let's get into that. All right, I'm trying to get into that. Oh boy, like I said, I don't have Nico here with me. Gundam 224U. He was out in the audience earlier. He may have fallen asleep by now. But Stevie, Mr. Steve Underwood, in case you guys don't know, this guy here has been putting bangers out, man. I'm talking for real bangers. Great dude. Got to know him a few months back. What up, Stevie? Several months back now, and we've been thick as thieves ever since. Well, let's just take a look at his latest shot. I think this is from today. Let me get over here, and boom, look at this thing, man. I love walking through the tall weeds. Makes me think there's a velociraptor back there someplace stalking him. Rim lighting's excellent, and I love that little bit of color that's in the smoke back there. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, like light is it's like light is refracting through the smoke. No, yeah. It looks awesome. This is another one of those examples. He's outside. It's very difficult to take great shots outside because you're dealing with the real world and the scale is always off. But this looks really, really good. It's clean, nice wide shot. Like you mentioned, the rim lighting. The other thing is the figure's in focus, and everything about that figure's in focus. You can see everything clear as day, even with the smoke behind him. That's a similar color. You can see exactly what's happening here, and it's done so well. And Steve is one of these guys that have been like, he's improved every time he takes a shot. I feel like it's better than the last, and not by a little bit, by a big margin. He's also a great human being. So if you're not following him, you absolutely should be, because he's incredible.
Yep. Michael, what's up, buddy? Glad you showed up, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Good to see you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys coming in. All right, so there's one shot by Senior Stevie. Let's go through some of his stuff that he's been doing. His Stormtrooper stuff that he's been doing lately is so crazy good. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I get it. You're talking about like having multiple figures here in the shot. It's difficult to keep them separate. And if you look at it, he did a good job here. It's tough. It is tough to do a lot of figures in one photo and be able to execute it. I like how the Stormtrooper closest to us is like buried in the snow, or he's crouched in the snow. That looks good.
Yeah. So some of the guys are out there saying it. There you got it. No, Stevie, always killing it. Mm-hmm. Krieg says that mood on the last photo was phenomenal. Mood is something that Steve excels in, for sure. Let's see what else we got here, because here you go. I liked this one a lot.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. See what we were talking about earlier with he doesn't have Mando straight or Boba straight into the camera. He's got his shoulders twisted slightly. The head's looking straight into the camera, which is cool. But adding the background subject really separates him and says, hey, I'm the main subject in the photo here. That's where it's at. So
yeah, and his head is slightly tilted too. It's not just straight on, it's slightly tilted. He's giving you a little bit of attitude. And having the character behind him gives you that dynamic in the photo where, okay, maybe Boba he's looking a little stoic, but then you have somebody in the background that is walking and their angle is opposite of his, and it gives you a little bit more striking. And then his lighting here, that orange on the green and on the blue, it looks so good. It's also kind of matches with his armor. It's orange and green, so it's beautiful here. Love it.
Yeah, the teals and the orange in the sky in the very back, it's just chef's kiss, man.
Yeah, beautiful.
Let's see here. I just like to go through these and something pops out at me. I just they all pop out. That's the problem. They get so good at some point. It's like, wow, here you go. How about that?
It's hard to say. Like, this looks like it's from the freaking movie. Like, it's striking. And you have it's I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is one light.
I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I think he might. It looks like he's got something. Yeah, I don't know.
It's one or two. I mean, it's very low lighting. We talked about that too earlier, like having figures too dark. But look at the last stick in here. You can still see it all the way down the tape. And one thing too, we mentioned with portraits is like he's got Rembrandt. Yeah, he's got one light and the monitor. Yeah, this is excellent. But one thing I was about to touch on is he's executing what they call Rembrandt lighting. So Rembrandt is one of my favorite techniques in portraits. Basically, you have a light on one side of his face, and Anakin here, it's on the right side. But if you look at our left, his right, underneath, there's a triangle of light underneath it on his cheek, and that's what Rembrandt is. So, it's one of my favorite techniques to use in my shots, and this is done beautifully. It looks so good. Great job here, Steve.
Great job. I'd be remiss if I didn't go and find, like, there's one shot but Stevie takes a lot of shots, which is great. But look at this thing, dude.
Oh yeah, we talked about this one. This was in our top 100 or top 25.
I want to say it. I think it made the top 5 in the top 25 of 2025, if I remember right. So, but dude, look at that. Look at that. He says most of my shots are accidental experimentations. That's the same for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I believe that's pretty much the same for all of us. It's a happy accident, and to coin Bob Ross, there is a happy little accident, and then that's kind of when you find that like magic in your shot where you accidentally moved and then your camera picked up an angle like, oh my god, that looks fantastic. Okay, let's do it from there. But this shot is freaking incredible. It's so clean looking too.
There's guys like me that have to learn lighting and learn perspective and learn those things, and then there's guys that see it directly out of their eyes. That's Stevie. He's an artist. He sees things, and he sees the light before it's there and understands what it's supposed to look like, and that is very, very cool work. So anyway, if you guys are not following Gundam 224U, let me I think I have one of those things in here. Let's go to my banners and looky up. Don't know why that's not in there, but in my media assets here. Nope. Oh, there it is. Bam. Okay. Haha. It's that QR code that just popped up in the corner. I'm gonna get this down, guys. I promise. That QR code up there in the corner. That is a link to Stevie's IG account. So go out and make sure you give him a follow. Congratulations on hitting 2K, Steve. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well done, sir. Yeah, well done. And anyway, with that, I will tell you, we're not going to keep everybody a long time on every Sundays. We're just coming here and talk to y'all for a little bit and let you have your day back. Appreciate y'all very much that have tuned in to the show. I hope some people catch us on replay. And every Sunday, look for Caveman's weekly update in some form of live entertainment, be that a pre-recorded premiere or be that me and Mr. K sitting here BSing. But we're going to do it every Sunday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is 10 a.m. in the morning out there. That's where they watch football on the West Coast, too. That's weird, man.
Weird.
My barbecue's not ready by then.
No, it's not.
Well, it's baseball season anyway, so let's go. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And Kay, what do you got going on? Anything special you want to shout out?
Yeah, there's a collaboration happening, a bunch of collabs I'm a part of that are coming up here soon. It's been, like I said earlier, it's been great to get back into taking a lot of photos. I'm having a lot of fun again. Yeah, just more and more photos. I have more Jada's I'm going to be taking photos of. I got a bunch of other things I'm going to be doing. But yeah, it's nice to see everybody, Nova, Monka, everybody that's out there. Thank you so much for joining us. Like Gannon said, I'm going to be joining him on Sunday. So come back and see the show. We're going to have a great time. More discussions to have. And yeah, just follow us. Follow Gannon at the Domesticated Caveman on Instagram. I'm Zach Life Photography. So follow us on Instagram and come back. We're very excited to see you all.
Hey, if you guys would do, hey, thanks, Steve. I was hoping that might catch on, man. I was hoping it might. You guys would do us a favor if you're out there watching. Could you hit the like button for me? And if you're not subscribed already, I think most of you folks in the live are subscribed already. Much appreciated. But if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, man, like leave some comments in the comment section and tell me, because I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, especially not when I get with all you fellow nerds and nerd kind. So leave some stuff in the comments and say, hey, I liked this about the video, I didn't like this, or you know, I want to see you highlight these things going forward, because hey, I'm learning. Started off with the toy photography, now I'm learning the YouTube's thing, so need all the help I can get. Certainly appreciate everybody that comes in, and thank you very much. We will catch you guys on the flip-flop.
Bye-bye.